Welcome back again, gardener friends. I'm going to kind of pick up where I left off on my last video. I got half the yard done, so I want to get the other half done. So right now what we're looking at is the top of my stairs that lead up to the main level where my lawn is at my house. So on my last video I covered the terrace garden and I covered the rose garden, which is over here. Even though we don't have any rose blooms yet, that's where they will all be in mostly full sun. So we're going to look at today my shade garden, which is this area here, and then also my hydrangea garden over there, which is part shade. And then lastly we'll swing around and look at my hot garden, which is in the west side of my house. Okay, but with no further delay, what I am doing up here with these potted plants, last year I had some barberry bushes right here and I cut them down to the ground. The roots started sending shoots up again just, this spring, and I cut those back as well, and then I placed pots over the top of them. I'm just trying to suppress those, but I realize I might have to keep cutting them back a little bit until they give up. And the roots were too established. I just couldn't dig them up. Also, I apologize. I sound nasally. I do have a cold right now. Okay, so what I did was I planted some blueberries. I don't remember the variety, but I have this one and the one in the other pot are matching each other. And then I had a second variety because you're supposed to have different ones to cross-pollinate. So I planted a second one right here. These were just planted a couple days ago, so they don't really even have any leaves or anything yet. But if you can just picture two different types of blueberry bush growing here along the front. I'm hoping that one gets enough sun on that side because I wanted both sides to match, but this one obviously gets more sun. And then over here, this little plant that you see is called New Jersey tea plant, and I have one of those planted on the other side of this other container as well, so that both sides are matching. Now what I really desperately need to do is get in here and pull up all of this ivy, and it's been climbing up my tree. I don't know if you can see those roots, but I really need to get all of that out. Problem is it's coming in from my neighbor's yard as well, and I don't know, I can ask them if they'd be okay with me pulling up theirs. They probably would, but yeah, I really need to get that done. We have hostas that are poking out of the ground, not all the way, but, and I don't know the names of hostas. I am not that gardener that's going to remember every single name of everything. So, hosta there. In this little area of this tree, I have planted some clematis that is purple. And then also, they're not popping up yet, but there's some lilies. I forget the name of them. They're not a type I've grown before. They're like little and they have dots on them. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. Right here we have a penstemon. This was just planted last fall, so I haven't seen it bloom yet, but this is a native brand or native variety. Another hosta. This right here is a purple veronica. I might move this one down to my terrace garden to join the other purple veronicas because I'm trying to make bigger groups of everything. This used to have something planted in it, but it doesn't right now. I don't know. I might even not use it. We'll see. But for now, it's sitting there. This is a solid green hosta. This one's more of like a chartreuse hosta. This one here matches that one, I think. I don't really have anything planted toward the front here yet, aside from like some dwarf irises. There's another green hosta. Some weeds that I gotta get in here and get. An allium that is gonna be opening here soon. And then this is pretty exciting. This is my lemony lace. I planted this the summer before last summer, and this is the first time that I'm seeing flower buds. So I'm excited to see those. I don't think that I'm going to have anything able to cross-pollinate this one because I think I read online that they pollinate at a different time, or they bloom at a different time than my other elderberry bushes. So we might just have flowers and not get any berries on that one. Here's another hosta. More. These ones that are in the front here, I just moved these down. They were popping up right there. But because I have an Aurelia Sun King right about this area that you can't see yet, when the Aurelia Sun King comes up, it will, you know, be big and it'll block all that out. So I relocated those hostas down toward the front. I needed to do that anyway because when I expanded this bed last fall, you know, I just have all this empty area. Oh, and look here, I must have had a deer come through. So I don't remember that being there yesterday, and now it's all eaten. This is, I think it's a spirea bush. I've been calling it spirea, but I'm not 100% sure it was here when I got here. Well, it wasn't here. I transplanted it. It was down on my terrace. But they do look like spirea to me, so that's what I've been calling it. This right here is a penstemon. This is its 3rd year now. Or maybe it's its 2nd. I can't remember for sure, but I'm thinking about splitting it. I have somewhere else that I want to plant penstemon, and since this one is big and looking bushy, I was thinking about maybe doing that, but I might wait till next year because I don't know if I do that now, is it going to interfere with it blooming? I don't know enough about it. There's another native type penstemon here and another one here as well. Let's see what else is going on. Got some more hostas that are just poking up out of the ground. So after I moved out the hostas from right here, and again, the Aurelia Sun King is like right around in this area. In fact, I think this is its, maybe its stem from last year. Oh, look here. I bet you that's it right there popping up. Anyway, so when this, I replanted this, I think with, I want to say Saigon iris. I don't remember. I planted a lot of things, so I could be wrong. Then I do have some iris back there. I think that one is Caesar's brother, if I can remember correctly, but it hasn't bloomed for me yet. I'm hoping it will this year. Otherwise, I'm going to have to move it. And then I was wanting to call that last year a geranium because I had planted a geranium in here, but I think what ended up happening was the geranium died, because I'm fairly certain that is a delphinium. And then I have some bearded iris planted here. I think this is more of the free iris that I got off of Facebook last year, so I'm not 100% sure what color it is, but I believe it, you know, most likely is just going to be purple since that's the most common color. But we shall see. Alright, so that covers the shade garden. I'm just going to mention this over here. I have a Let's Dance lovable hydrangea in this pot. And this is just some grass that I need to move to my terrace, but I haven't dug a hole for it yet. I've got to take out a barberry on the terrace, and that's going to go where it is, or at least to the side of where it is. This Let's Dance lovable pot, I want to put over this barberry once I get out my chainsaw and cut it to the ground. I was planning on doing that stuff today, but I actually was pretty sick today. It's like noon and I'm just now getting out of bed. And then tomorrow I'm supposed to be off, but I was asked if I could work. So I'm probably not going to have the chance to get this done when I wanted to. But anyway, I'm going to be chainsawing that barberry down, and I want to place that pot on top of its root stumps like I did with the blueberry pots. And then hopefully I can have a nice shady blue, popping blue Let's Dance lovable. Over here begins my hydrangea garden. And this last fall was all grass. I did have most of these shrubs already planted last fall, but other than that, it was just grass during this whole strip. And I was able to get a free chip drop last fall, so I decided that I wanted to take out all of the grass in this area. I laid down cardboard, I laid down a very thick layer of this chip, and I'm just, you know, slowly transitioning. All right, so I transplanted all of my hydrangeas from the front, where all of my roses are now, to over here to where we have mostly dappled shade. That end gets more sun than this end does, but yeah, I still figured it would be a better position for the hydrangeas, which were getting kind of burnt leaves and stuff like that, and definitely a better position for the roses to be out front than on this side. All of the hydrangeas survived being transplanted, so I'm super excited about that. And they are starting to get leaves and bud out. Okay, so we can see those beautiful leaves. If my camera would focus. All right, well, maybe not, but you get the idea. Some of them are much further along than others. So some of these are like on their second year. Some of them are going on their third year. And they're all probably a little smaller than they should be since I transplanted them, but this is going to be their final home. And once they're, you know, fully popped out and everything, I'll be able to tell you which ones are which. But right now, I don't remember what was like, which ones are arborescens, which ones are panicle, let alone the name cultivar. This right here is a butterfly magnolia. It's on its second year. It does have a couple of buds, but not many yet. Another hydrangea. Another hydrangea. Oop, here's one that I need to uncover a little bit. I had all of these quite buried in mulch over the winter. Not that they really need it. Hydrangeas are actually really winter hardy. But, yeah, that just kind of happened when I had the mulch or the chip drop. I wanted to cover the walls because they were getting weeds and stuff. So, anyhow, they'll be fine. This is a new addition. This is a peach tree that I planted in honor of my daughter, Maya. She is a nut for peaches. And I did want to have some kind of fruit tree back here in my hydrangea garden. I think it looks really romantic when you have like an apple tree or a peach tree or whatever. Something that flowers but also gets those round fruit in summertime. And I did plant a crabapple here last fall, but a deer came by and bit off the top of it. So it was only like 6 inches tall. And then I kind of changed my mind and I was like, we're not going to really eat the crab apples. I might make jam occasionally, but we will eat peaches and my daughter loves them. So I just took out the crabapple and decided to put this peach tree in, and I think I'm happy with that change. Got another hydrangea here. Another little hydrangea right there. Another little hydrangea there. One here. Another very tiny hydrangea here. Right, this one here is Bobo, I can tell you that, because I just remember. And then I'm starting a second row of hydrangeas back here. So right now, I have like 5 more that are going to be delivered in mid-May from Proven Winners. But right now, that should be a strawberry vanilla. Here's my conundrum though. I had this one, and then there's one down there that I'll show you. Might as well show you now. This one here. I bought them at the same time. They were both in, they were both marked as strawberry vanilla hydrangeas, panicle hydrangeas. But when they leafed out, well, first of all, that one is growing much faster. This one had like one main stem that I cut back I'm kind of trying to trigger it to grow more stems. But anyway, the one main stem that it did have, it was definitely a panicle hydrangea, but the leaves were a different size than these leaves over here. So I think that one of them was mismarked, and I don't know which one. So now I don't really know what either of them are. So regardless, they're both panicle hydrangeas, and I'm going to have 5 more coming along that I'm going to put along this row. Now this hedgerow in the back, everything is the same that I planted last year. last fall or last summer, except for I did make one change. Well, it's really two because it's two plants. Right here, I had a columnar rose of Sharon. They grow about, I want to say 4 feet wide and about 15 to 20 feet tall. I actually have 4 of them, so I still have 2. This is one of them. You see how it's kind of sticks go straight up like that? And it is getting buds as well. These are awesome in that they flower all summer long. Like as soon as they start flowering, they just did not stop until freezing. And I really liked them, but they're all white flowers. I also have planted these right here. I have 2 of these planted. This is a columnar serviceberry, and I have another one right over there. And so those are also going to bloom white. And I felt like it was going to be too much white and not enough other color. So I had this friend at my work that wanted to get 2 of those columnar rose of Sharon's. And when I had told her about mine, and when she went to go buy them, they were already sold out at Home Depot. So I told her that I bought 4. I think I really don't want that many in this hedgerow anyway. And so I agreed to give her 2 of mine. I replaced those 2 with this Pyrrhus japonica. I think it's like flame or lightning. I don't know. They get really cool white flowers, which are already past. They had them on them when I bought them. And then their leaves also get like this burgundy color on them. But when they first come out, so like once I start getting new growth, which I haven't gotten any right now, my understanding is that they are like this kind of like a corally orangey pink color, and they're just really cool looking. Plus this has variegated, leaves. Like there was just a lot of interest for this plant, a 4-season interest, I think. And so I decided that's what I was going to replace the 2 Rose of Sharons that I took out with. And my friend's happy, and I'm happy. Everybody's happy. There's kind of a big gap back here. I might put like some Thin Man or some other kind of skinny evergreen of some sort back here, but I didn't. I left this space because these service berries are supposed to get like 8 feet around, and I don't want it to go into my neighbor's yard. So that's why there is that gap there. This is really interesting. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to put that on plant ID because I don't remember planting that, but it doesn't look like any weed that I've seen before. Now I could be wrong. It kind of looks like marijuana. Am I wrong? I know there's some plants though that have that same kind of leaf structure, but that is really wild. I'm gonna have to look that up. What else? I have these tiger eye sumac in here for color, and the deer are eating on them, so that's unfortunate, but I'm just kind of taking the philosophy that the deer live here, and I know especially during early spring they're just literally starving. That's the worst time of the year for animals when it comes to finding food, and they just pretty much will start eating anything. So those will also get really pretty fall color. So I've got the serviceberry that's going to get great fall color. I've got these that will get great fall color, and then I want to say maybe the Pyrrhus japonica might also get like an orangey color in fall. I don't remember. Alright, this is a native, I think it's called buffalo berry, and I haven't I've only had this since last September. I replaced a shrub that was here, a willow sage that was just getting dry and crispy even though I was like watering it every day. I put that willow sage in my bog garden and it's growing beautifully now. So I think the issue was that this is on a hill and it's at the top of the hill, and so I think that it just wasn't getting enough water even though I was watering it like every day. I don't know what else to say because it's doing great where it is now. Here's that other Rose of Sharon that is all budded up. I don't remember the name of this one. I have another one that's mashing on the other end. They were shaped when I bought them, but that's not why I bought them. They just were on clearance and they were already shaped. I'm just letting them grow back naturally. But I want to say it's like a juniper, blue juniper of some sort. And then this right here is another one that I don't remember the name of. Hopefully I can find the tags because I saved almost all the tags for all my plants. And at the moment, I'm not finding my older ones. So I'll have to keep looking. This is a Zephyrin Geruin climbing rose. I need to get in here and rake out all those leaves and put a trellis behind it. I actually have something in mind for the trellis. It's the headboard from my daughter's bed that she no longer wants. And I thought it would look really pretty, kind of, it's metal. And so I thought it would look pretty behind this and all that. But I don't want to put it up until I get my yard cleaned up more because I feel like it's just going to add to the clutter and tackiness, and I don't want my neighbors to be upset. So once I get like this wood pile over here I have from last summer when my tree branch fell down, I still have this wood that I need to burn or do something with. And I want to get rid of these stones. I'm going to put that stuff up on FreeCycle or Facebook, whatever. Okay, so then moving on over here, we have, I don't really have a name for this, I guess just like a driveway bed. It's got hostas, it's got some tulips and narcissus. Those little white flowers are the narcissus. I think they're also called paper whites, type of daffodil. There are some hyacinths in here. I don't know why they are fallen over. This is the first year that they were planted. I don't really have a lot of experience with hyacinths, so. Alright, sorry, my camera stopped recording. I think my phone is getting close to having no room, so I deleted some older videos. But what I was saying is I'm not loving the cool pink of these hyacinth with the warm pink of these daffodils. And I think I'm going to take the hyacinths out at the end of this season and put them elsewhere. But otherwise, I've been happy with this little planting. These shrubs right here, and I brought this up on a different video, these are called St. John's wort. They get yellow flowers. I just put them here because I had to move them from where they were before, and I don't think this is where they're going to stay either. So don't be surprised if in another video or two you see some, you know, something different, some other arrangement, but I'll figure out a good home for those. All right, I'm going to move over to the last part of my garden, the bog garden. I'm just going to pause for a second. All right, so we are now back in my hot garden. Sometimes I call it the bog garden because it has this little river that used to be filled with water, and then I poked holes in the lining and made it a garden instead. Some people might think that's crazy, but I wasn't happy with the way that it was set up, and it was always getting leaves in it from this giant tree, and it was just kind of a pain. So I decided I'll do a pond elsewhere in my yard, but this space right here, I really wanted to do a bog garden anyway, and so it just created that perfect opportunity for me. So I do put plants in this river that like a lot of water, that enjoy having wet feet, that don't mind getting flooded occasionally. It does drain, it just drains slowly. So right now these hosta are just here because last year I got a bunch on Facebook, and these were like extras that I don't even really want. I'm gonna try to give them to some friends and stuff this year, but for right now this was just a place that I plopped them down. Other than that, there's some fern popping up over there. I have some more fern starting to pop up over here. I have a... All right, let's try that again. It cut me off again. I think it's because my phone was full. So I had to empty the trash. Where I had deleted the videos, I needed to empty the trash. So hopefully this works. I only have like 2 more minutes, I promise. So anyway, I have a white bleeding heart that I want to add in there. I want to keep adding like probably ferns, and oh, I want to order a pig squeak. It's the kinds I think it's called Ripple Effect. It has white flowers instead of pink. The reason I want that particular one is because the leaves get even bigger than the other ones, which I think would look really cool there. And this is part of what I'm calling my white garden. So this right here is all like blood red gladiolas, I think. I don't remember. They're starting to come out. But I know that they're tall and they're like a really deep red. But the rest of this part in the front is like white. And then this is going to be gross, but I'm going to show you guys. Over in this area, I have to clean all of this yard debris up and everything. But I want to put white shade flowers. So that right there is a fairy tale bride trailing hydrangea. I've never grown that one before, but that's what's in that pot. I have a pillow talk white gardenia coming, so that's going to be in another pot over in that area. I might move this table and chairs, but I might just, I don't know, I'm going to move that for sure. That needs to get thrown out. It's really old. And get a better fire pit. But I'm trying to make this whole little shaded in area a lot of white flowers. And then right there I have it's called a Darlow's Enigma rose, and it's like a single, what do you call them? Single petal variety. They're just like 5 or 6 little petals, and I want that to climb up and over. I'm going to get like an arbor type thing to go around my little gardening greenhouse room. Excuse me. So anyway, that's the kind of the concept is like once we get over here, everything will be white. This area right here, once all of this yard waste is out, I want to plant with some kind of white flower, ground cover, something like that. All right. Anyway, this one is a geum. It's either red or orange, but I think it's red. Under here, I want to say is nothing right now, so I'll have more space to plant things once I get that picked up. Again, these are like a blood red gladiola, I want to say. That green one right there, I just need to transplant that. That's a orange ditch lily that will go to my terrace garden. This big fluffy one right here is a columbine. It's the Columbine canadensis. I think it's like a red and yellow flower. Right here I have what I believe is Irish moss, but I'm not really sure. But it's creeping slowly through this whole river, and I want it to continue in between all of the plants to fill up this entire little river. Down here, this is where I moved that willow sage plant that wasn't happy from over on my side garden. And now it's on this side. So this is a boggy area. It does stay very wet and moist. There's some green grass blades poking up in here. I don't know if you can see them, but that's basically this plant. It's like I have an umbrella grass, and I have another kind of grass that is just straight, but it gets very tall. It looks really pretty. I really like that. Right here, we've got my foxtrot pennisetum grass. I did talk about why there's a second little one right there. It's because although this big one was planted right in the center, as you can see, south is that way. And so what happened was the grass was growing and leaning that way, and there wasn't as much on this side, and it was making it look off center. So I added another smaller piece of the foxtrot pennisetum over there to try to make that look more balanced. I added some creeping jenny right here because I used to have like some various kinds of Asiatic lily, daylily, that sort of thing planted around it, but for 2 reasons it wasn't working. I didn't like the grass foliage next to my actual literal grass. And also they just weren't getting enough sun, because when the grass gets big and fills in, it covers up that foliage. So they weren't really blooming and doing that well in that space, so I just decided to move them. Other than the grass that I have planted in here and that willow sage, I don't really have anything else except for these 2 native plants that I planted last year, which are called Anemone virginiana. I just put those there because I needed somewhere to plant them. And I might move them. I'm going to let them stay there for now because I think they have white flowers, but I might end up moving them down to that end and be with my white garden stuff. Over here, I have a bunch of those Asiatic lilies. I always forget what they're called. I don't know. There's different varieties. Asiatic lilies, that type of thing. Right here I have some red cannas planted, which is the same thing that I had last year in this space, and it looks really good. Last year they grew up like past this fence line, but I got different varieties this year, so I don't know if they're going to be quite that tall. We'll see. This is a climbing Don Juan rose. I need to trim off this dead branch right here. But for being in dappled shade, it looks like it's doing okay. And then once it starts poking out through this way, I will weave it up, you know, this fence, and it should be happy. Got some more, in this little garden we're switching to like more oranges and yellows. I've got some more Asiatic lilies planted over here. These are the regular yellow daylilies. I think they're called Stella d'Oro. I'm not sure, they're just like a orange yolk yellow. I have some yellow cannas planted behind those. I see one of them poking out. And then I have some more Asiatic lilies over here. This little area is where I've had my winter sowing, which I did for the first time officially this year. And these two don't have anything in them yet. Some of them I think are just fails. But here we have some purple coneflower. This one is also purple coneflower. That back there is like a carrot mix because I think carrots make really pretty flowers. I've got a lot of foxglove, like 4 or 5 of these are all the Excelsior foxglove blends. This one back here is lupin. This one is giant delphiniums. This one is hyssop. I'm really excited about this one because those are big plants and I've got several of them. And then this one is black peony poppy. Over here I have a couple of plants that didn't make it through winter. This was my Ladybank's climbing rose. I kind of regretted buying that, so I'm kind of happy that it died because I think it would have been too much for me to handle, to be honest. And then this one right here, God, I couldn't even remember the name of it before I transplanted it there. And then I moved it there last summer and it didn't come back after winter. So, oh well, I need to find something that likes shade to plant in that area. This whole area needs to get really cleaned up so that it looks better. I'll have some potted stuff going on over here this summer once it's nice enough. We've got like one more weekend where it's forecasting that it's going to drop down to freezing, and so I'm not bringing out any of my houseplants or anything probably for another month. I'll probably wait till like mid-May, but that's that area over there around my air conditioner will probably get a lot of potted plants. And then I usually also do potted plants on this side. Oh, here's that headboard I was telling you about that I was going to use for my Zephyr and Druin climbing rose over in the hydrangea garden against my shed. And then these are the ones that were around my grass there. I transplanted to here. Now I know they need more sun, so I am going to be moving that. I just transplanted these like 2 days ago. Last thing, I got a couple of cactus here. This pile of rocks is because I'm going through the process of digging out all the rocks in this garden. This was here before I moved here in 2020. Well, not the hens and chicks. I put the hens and chicks, but it was just rocks before. And they were growing between them fine and everything, but I just don't like the way that it looks, honestly. So I'm taking all the rocks out. It's taking time. I'm always either working or something like getting sick on my day off happens, and that kind of throws a wrench in my plans. But it's a work in progress, but I am excited about what it's going to look like by the end of this summer, and I hope you guys will stick around to see. All right, thanks for watching.